Have you ever been in a situation where someone tried to embarrass you in front of other people? Maybe it happened at work. Maybe it happened among friends. Maybe it happened at a family gathering. Everything seemed normal. Then suddenly, someone made a cutting remark, a sarcastic joke, a disrespectful comment, something designed to put you on the spot. And for a brief moment, it felt as though every eye in the room turned toward you. If you've experienced this, you know the feeling. Your heart beats faster. Your mind races. Part of you wants to defend yourself. Part of you wants to disappear. Part of you wants to strike back. And perhaps the most painful part isn't the comment itself. It's the audience. The fact that it happened in front of other people. Because public humiliation doesn't just target your feelings. It targets your social standing, your image, your sense of dignity, and that's exactly why it can feel so powerful. But Carl Jung would likely ask a very different question. Not, why did they insult you? But, why did they need an audience? Because that question changes everything. You see, most people assume public humiliation is an act of strength, a display of confidence, a show of dominance. Yet, psychologically speaking, the opposite is often true. People who genuinely feel secure rarely need spectators. They rarely need public victories. They rarely need to lower another person in order to elevate themselves. In fact, one of the clearest signs of insecurity is the need for an audience, the need to be seen winning, the need to be seen dominating, the need to be seen placing someone else beneath them. This is where today's conversation begins. Because if someone tries to humiliate you publicly, your response matters. Not because you need to protect your ego, but because your response determines whether you become trapped inside their psychological game or rise above it. Before we continue, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had someone insult, embarrass, or disrespect you in front of others? How did you react? And looking back now, would you handle it differently? Let me know in the comments, because I suspect many people watching have lived through a moment they'll never forget. The first thing you should do when someone tries to humiliate you publicly is surprisingly simple. Do not give them the emotional reaction they came to collect. Most people misunderstand what public humiliation is trying to achieve. They think the goal is the insult itself. It isn't. The insult is merely the tool. The real goal is your reaction. Think about it. Why humiliate someone privately when you can do it publicly? Why choose an audience? Why choose a stage? Because humiliation is social. The person isn't simply communicating with you. They're communicating with everyone watching. They're trying to create a narrative, a story, a hierarchy, and your emotional reaction becomes part of that story. This is why some people seem almost disappointed when you remain calm, because calmness interrupts the script. Jung believed that much of human behavior is driven by unconscious motives. People often want things they cannot openly admit: respect, attention, validation, status, control. The person attempting to humiliate you often wants one or more of these things, and they are hoping your reaction will provide it. Anger gives them attention. Defensiveness gives them control. Emotional collapse gives them status. But calmness gives them nothing. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It doesn't mean pretending you aren't hurt. It simply means refusing to hand your emotions to someone who has not earned them. One of the most powerful realizations in life is understanding that not every invitation deserves acceptance, and humiliation is an invitation into conflict, an invitation into emotional chaos, an invitation into someone else's insecurity. You do not have to accept it. The second thing you should do is equally important. Observe the audience as much as the insult. This may sound strange, but pay attention to what happens after the comment. Watch the room, watch the faces, watch the energy, because something fascinating is occurring. Most people focus entirely on the person delivering the insult. Jung would encourage us to look deeper. Public humiliation is often a performance, and every performance has an audience. The humiliator is seeking something from that audience: approval, validation, laughter, agreement, recognition. Without the audience, the behavior loses much of its power. This is why many public insults feel strangely theatrical. They're designed to generate a reaction from everyone present. And here's the interesting part. The audience often reveals more than the insult itself. Some people laugh because they're uncomfortable. Some stay silent because they're afraid. Some defend you. Some distance themselves. Some suddenly reveal who they really are. Moments of public tension have a way of exposing character. Not just yours, everyone's. And this is one reason humiliating experiences, painful as they are, often become unexpectedly revealing. You learn who respects you. You learn who follows the crowd. You learn who values courage. You learn who values approval. In a strange way, the humiliator may accidentally expose the entire social dynamic, including themselves. Because the third thing you should do is perhaps the most important. Understand what the insult is really about. This is where Jung's ideas become incredibly useful. Because the person humiliating you is rarely responding only to you. They are responding to what you represent. Perhaps your confidence, perhaps your competence, perhaps your independence, perhaps your authenticity, perhaps your growth. The conscious mind focuses on the surface. The unconscious mind reacts to symbolism. And many people become emotionally activated by qualities they have not yet developed within themselves. This is where projection enters the picture. Projection occurs when people unconsciously place unwanted feelings onto others. Instead of confronting their insecurity, they attack confidence. Instead of confronting their weakness, they attack strength. Instead of confronting their envy, they attack achievement. The result is behavior that seems irrational, until you understand the psychology behind it. Suddenly the humiliation makes more sense, not because it becomes acceptable, but because it becomes understandable. And understanding creates distance. Distance creates clarity, and clarity creates power. The moment you stop seeing the insult as a verdict about you and start seeing it as information about them, everything changes. Their words lose much of their emotional weight, because you're no longer asking, "What's wrong with me?" You're asking, "What is this behavior revealing?" And that question leads somewhere far more useful. Because once you understand what motivates public humiliation, you stop making one of the most common mistakes, trying to win the humiliator's approval. And that's where the next lesson begins. Stop trying to win the interaction. One of the biggest mistakes people make after being publicly humiliated is deciding they must win. They must have the perfect comeback, the perfect response, the perfect argument, the perfect moment of revenge. And on the surface, that desire feels understandable. After all, nobody enjoys being embarrassed. Nobody enjoys feeling disrespected. Nobody enjoys becoming the target of someone else's attempt to gain status. But here's what many people fail to realize. The moment you become obsessed with winning, you've already accepted the terms of their game. You've entered the arena they created. You've agreed that the interaction is a contest. And once that happens, the humiliator has already gained something they wanted: your attention, your energy, your emotional investment. Jung often spoke about the importance of becoming conscious of unconscious forces. One of those forces is the ego's desperate need to defend its image. When someone attacks us publicly, the ego immediately wants restoration. It wants balance. It wants justice. It wants everyone to see that we are not weak, not foolish, not inferior. And because of that, many people react impulsively. They argue. They attack back. They escalate. only to discover later that the entire situation became larger than it ever needed to be. The truth is, strength and victory are not always the same thing. Sometimes the strongest response is not proving someone wrong. Sometimes the strongest response is refusing to build your identity around their opinion. Think about that. Why should your peace depend on convincing a person who was trying to provoke you in the first place? Why should your self-worth depend on winning an interaction designed to make you lose composure? The answer is that it shouldn't. This doesn't mean becoming passive. It doesn't mean allowing people to walk over you. It means recognizing that some battles are psychological traps, and the trap only works if you step into it. Whatever you do, do not become who they expect. One of the most fascinating things about public humiliation is that it often comes with a prediction. The person humiliating you expects something. They expect anger, defensiveness, embarrassment, an emotional explosion. In many cases, they've already imagined the entire sequence. They make the comment, you react, the audience responds, and they leave feeling powerful. That's the script. But what happens when the script breaks? What happens when the reaction never arrives? What happens when the person remains composed, thoughtful, grounded, present? Something remarkable happens. The power dynamic changes instantly, because humiliation relies on participation. Without participation, the performance begins collapsing. This is why calm people can be so frustrating to insecure individuals. Calmness cannot easily be controlled. Calmness cannot easily be manipulated. Calmness refuses to play the role assigned to it. Jung believed that psychological maturity involves becoming less reactive to unconscious forces, not emotionless, not detached from reality, but capable of observing emotions without immediately obeying them. And nowhere is this more valuable than during moments of public disrespect, because those moments reveal something important, not just about the other person, about you. Can you remain yourself when someone wants you to become someone else? Can you remain centered when someone wants you destabilized? Can you remain conscious when someone wants you reactive? Those questions matter far more than whatever insult was spoken. They often need the audience more than they need the insult. Let's return to something we touched on earlier, the audience. Because many humiliators are far less interested in hurting you than they are in impressing others. This is a detail most people miss. The target appears to be you, but psychologically speaking, the audience is often the real objective. The humiliator wants approval, validation, attention, status. They want to appear clever, powerful, dominant, superior, and public humiliation becomes a shortcut, at least temporarily. By lowering someone else, they hope to raise themselves. But genuine respect doesn't work that way. Genuine respect is earned, not extracted. Secure people understand this. Insecure people often do not. This is why some individuals seem completely different depending on who is watching. Alone, they are polite, respectful, reasonable. In front of a crowd, they become sarcastic, condescending, mocking. Why? Because the audience activates something, a need, a hunger, a desire to be seen, and once you understand that, public humiliation begins looking very different. You stop seeing a powerful person attacking a weaker one. You begin seeing an insecure person performing for approval. That's not always the case, but it is far more common than most people realize. And once you see it, it's difficult to unsee. There is a reason I have focused more on insecurity, because insecurity is one of the hidden engines of human behavior. It influences relationships, friendships, workplaces, families, social groups, and often it operates beneath the surface, invisible, unacknowledged, yet powerful. Public humiliation is frequently one of its clearest expressions. Why? Because secure people do not need public victories. They do not need to embarrass others to feel valuable. They do not need spectators to validate their worth. A secure person can disagree without humiliating, correct without degrading, challenge without shaming. An insecure person often struggles with that, because insecurity interprets other people's strengths as personal threats. Your confidence becomes uncomfortable, your competence becomes irritating, your popularity becomes threatening, your growth becomes difficult to watch, and when those feelings intensify, humiliation becomes tempting, not because it solves anything, but because it offers temporary relief. For a moment, the insecure person feels bigger, stronger, safer, more significant. The problem is that relief never lasts, which is why the behavior tends to repeat. Again and again, different targets, same motivation, different circumstances, same insecurity. And that's where Jung's concept of the shadow becomes incredibly relevant. The shadow hides behind the insult. Jung believed every person carries a shadow, the parts of themselves they don't want to see, the parts they reject, deny, suppress, ignore. Often these include feelings of envy, inferiority, resentment, bitterness. The problem is that whatever remains unconscious tends to seek expression. One way it expresses itself is projection. Instead of confronting weakness, a person attacks strength. Instead of confronting insecurity, they attack confidence. Instead of confronting envy, they attack achievement. The attack appears directed outward, but psychologically, it begins inward. This is why some insults feel strangely revealing. The content tells you less about the target than the speaker. A person obsessed with calling others weak may be wrestling with weakness. A person obsessed with status may feel insignificant. A person obsessed with superiority may secretly fear inferiority. Again, not always, but often. And recognizing this changes your relationship with criticism, especially public criticism, because you begin understanding that every insult contains information about the person delivering it. Now let's talk about the response, not the dramatic response, not the viral response, not the response people fantasize about afterward in the shower, the effective response, the response that actually changes the dynamic. It's surprisingly simple. Remain present, remain composed, remain deliberate. This doesn't mean silence is always required. Sometimes a calm boundary is necessary. Sometimes a direct statement is appropriate. Sometimes a simple, "That's unnecessary," is enough. The key is emotional control, not emotional suppression, control. The difference matters. Suppression hides emotion. Control guides it, and when someone expects chaos but encounters composure, something interesting happens. The audience notices, because composure communicates confidence. It communicates self-respect. It communicates inner stability. Most importantly, it communicates that your identity is not dependent on the approval of the room. That is incredibly difficult to fake and incredibly powerful. The humiliator came looking for a reaction. Instead, they encountered a mirror reflecting their own behavior back to them, without anger, without drama, without a fight, just reality. And reality is often more revealing than any comeback. Perhaps the most liberating realization comes later. Usually, long after the interaction is over, long after the audience has left, long after the emotions have settled, you begin seeing the event differently. You realize the humiliation wasn't really about you. You happened to be the target. But the deeper struggle belonged to them. Their insecurity, their need for approval, their unresolved conflicts, their shadow, their hunger for validation. You were simply standing in the path of it. This doesn't excuse the behavior, but it explains it, and explanation creates freedom. Because once you understand that another person's cruelty is often rooted in their own suffering, you stop carrying it around. You stop replaying it endlessly. You stop allowing it to define your self-image. You stop giving it more power than it deserves. If Carl Jung were sitting here today, he would likely remind us of something important. People cannot project onto you what they have already confronted within themselves. Projection requires unconsciousness. It requires denial. It requires a refusal to look inward. That's why public humiliation often reveals far more about the humiliator than the target. The behavior itself is a clue, a glimpse into an inner struggle, a struggle they may not even understand. And that's why the ultimate response is not revenge, not humiliation in return, not endless resentment. The ultimate response is awareness, awareness of what is happening, awareness of what belongs to you, and awareness of what does not. Because not every insult belongs to you. Not every accusation belongs to you. Not every projection belongs to you. Some things belong entirely to the person delivering them. The challenge is learning not to carry what was never yours. And once you learn that, public humiliation loses much of its power, because your dignity no longer depends on other people's behavior. Your self-respect no longer depends on other people's opinions. Your peace no longer depends on winning every social encounter. Instead, it comes from something deeper, a relationship with yourself, a confidence that doesn't require applause, a stability that doesn't require validation. And perhaps that is what truly unsettles insecure people. Not your words, not your status, not your success, but your refusal to become what they expected. Before you go, I'd like to ask you something. Have you ever had someone try to embarrass or humiliate you in front of others? Looking back now, what do you think their real motive was? Was it insecurity, attention, status, control, or something else entirely? Share your experience in the comments. You may be surprised by how many people have gone through the exact same thing. And if this conversation resonated with you, subscribe and join us for future explorations into psychology, self-awareness, and the hidden forces shaping human behavior. Until next time, stay aware, because the moment you understand what belongs to you and what belongs to someone else's shadow, you become far harder to shake.